Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak to your hearts about something we all face, something that can shake us to our very core, failure. Oh, failure. But let me tell you, failure is not a curse, no, it is a divine invitation. It is the Lord's way of preparing us for a greater purpose. Many of us fear failure as though it were the end of our journey. But failure is not the final word, it is the beginning of a new chapter, stepping stone on the path God has laid out for us. When we stumble, when we fall, we are not forsaken, we are being refined. Think of those who have left a mark on history. They did not succeed because they never failed. They succeeded because they refused to give up. Every great achievement was born out of many failures, and in those moments of defeat, they found strength to rise again. Our failures teach us humility. They remind us that we are not perfect, that we need grace, God's unending, merciful grace. In our weakness, His power is made perfect. So, when you feel weak because you failed, remember, that is when God's strength can carry you forward. Failure humbles the proud and strengthens the weak. It breaks down our pride so that we can be rebuilt with character, with perseverance, with faith. It is the hammer that shapes us into vessels fit for the good work ahead. So my friends, do not be discouraged by failure, instead embrace it, learn from it. Let it draw you closer to God and let it push you to rise higher than ever before. True success is not found in never falling, but in rising every single time we fall. Stand firm, trust in God's plan, and let your failures be the foundation of your victory. Failure is often seen as a dark and final chapter in the story of our lives. But what if I told you that failure is not the end? It is not a place where hope dies or dreams are shattered beyond repair. Rather, failure is the soil in which the seeds of success are planted, a necessary part of the journey that leads us closer to the victory we seek, shaping us in ways that success alone never could. When we face failure, it is easy to feel defeated, as if the world has turned its back on us. Yet history teaches us a different lesson, a lesson written by those who stumbled, fell, and rose again stronger than before. Every great achievement, every towering accomplishment has been built on the foundation of setbacks and mistakes. And those moments of failure were not obstacles to stop them, but stepping stones to climb higher. Failure strips away the illusion of perfection, exposing our vulnerabilities and teaching us humility. It humbles the proud heart and reminds us that we are human, fallible yet resilient. This humbling experience softens our spirit, making us more teachable, more patient, and more willing to listen to the guidance that leads us on the right path towards success. In those times when we fail, we are given a precious opportunity to pause and reflect, to understand what went wrong and how we might grow from the experience. Failure is like a mirror held up to our soul, revealing areas where we need strength, wisdom and courage. Without failure, we might remain blind to our weaknesses, unable to develop the character necessary to persevere. More importantly, failure draws us closer to the source of all strength and hope. It is in our broken moments, when we feel the weight of defeat, that we can lean more fully on divine grace and encouragement. There is a power greater than ourselves ready to lift us up, to renew our spirit, and to whisper that this is not the end but a new beginning filled with promise. Each failure refines us, burning away the dross of doubt and fear until what remains is a refined, stronger version of ourselves, ready to face the challenges ahead with renewed determination. The journey through failure is a journey toward resilience, teaching us not just to survive but to thrive, to keep moving forward even when the road is steep and uncertain. So when you find yourself standing at the edge of failure, do not despair, for that place is not your grave but your gateway. It is a place where you shed old limitations and prepare to step into a greater future. The setbacks you face today are preparing you for the breakthroughs of tomorrow, and every stumble brings you closer to the victory that awaits. Remember, failure is not the end, it is the very stepping stone that carries you upward on the path to success, encouraging you to rise again, to press on, and to believe that your greatest triumphs are still unfolding before you in ways you may not yet see, and the journey continues. Every great achievement, no matter how grand or inspiring, carries behind it a story marked by moments of failure, times when the path was dark and uncertain, and the dream seemed far away or even impossible to reach. Yet those very failures are the unseen foundation upon which success is built. Like the roots of a mighty tree buried deep beneath the surface, silently gathering strength and nourishment. The inventors, the leaders, the artists and the pioneers we admire did not reach their heights without first facing setbacks and disappointments. Those moments of failure tested their resolve, stretched their patience and challenged their faith. And it was through this crucible of difficulty that They were forged into the extraordinary individuals who changed the course of history. Think about the countless attempts, the experiments that did not work, the doors that closed, and the times when hope almost gave way to despair. Each failure was a lesson wrapped in disguise, a step on the staircase leading high, a call to persevere despite the obstacles and to trust in the process even when the outcome was uncertain. In every failure, there is a whisper of encouragement, urging us not to give up, but to try again with renewed wisdom and strength, reminding us that the road to achievement is never straight or easy, but rather a winding journey filled with trials that prepare us for the victory that is to come. Those moments of failure reveal the depth of our character and the extent of our courage. For it takes great bravery to rise after falling, to face the world with determination even when our dreams seem shattered. And it is precisely this courage that distinguishes those who ultimately succeed from those who allow failure to define their destiny. Moreover, failure humbles us, stripping away pride and self-reliance so that we may lean into the support, the guidance, and the grace that sustain us through difficult times. And it is often in these moments of vulnerability that we discover the true source of our strength and the resilience needed to press forward. Great achievements are not the absence of failure, but the triumph over it, the story of relentless effort, faith, and hope carried through the darkest nights into the light of a new dawn, where every setback becomes a setup for an even greater comeback, and every moment of defeat a catalyst for transformation and growth. So, when you face failure, remember that it is not a sign of the end, but a vital part of the journey toward greatness, that every setback holds within it the seed of success, and that the moments of failure you endure today are the very moments preparing you for the achievements that are waiting to unfold in your life as your story continues to grow and inspire without end. Failure is a powerful teacher, one that humbles us deeply and gently, strips away the layers of pride that often blind us to our true selves. For when we stumble and fall, we are reminded that we are not invincible, that we are fragile and in need of growth. And this humbling process opens our hearts to learn and to change in ways success alone never could. In the face of failure, we come face to face with our limitations and imperfections, and it is here that humility takes root, allowing us to accept help, to seek wisdom, and to recognize that we do not have all the answers, which softens our hearts and prepares us to become better versions of ourselves. Humility learned through failure teaches us patience with others, but patience with ourselves. As we understand that growth is not instantaneous, that progress comes in seasons, and that setbacks are simply part of the journey rather than the end of it, at the same time, failure strengthens our resilience, that quiet, unyielding determination to rise again after each fall, to face adversity with courage and hope, knowing that every struggle makes us stronger and every defeat is an opportunity to build endurance for the battles ahead. Resilience born from failure is a gift that keeps on giving, for it trains our minds and hearts to persevere when the road is rough and the future uncertain, enabling us to bounce back with renewed faith and vigor, prepared to keep moving forward even when the odds seem stacked against us. Through failure, we learn that resilience is not simply about enduring hardship, but about embracing it as a teacher, allowing the challenges we face to shape us into individuals capable of facing life's storms with grace and confidence, ever ready to keep walking the path laid before us. Humility and resilience walk hand in hand, forged in the fire of failure, teaching us that it is not our successes that define us, but our ability to rise again, to lean on faith and courage when we are weak, and to keep striving toward the light that shines beyond the darkest moments. So let failure be not a source of shame or fear, but a sacred teacher guiding us gently yet firmly into humility and resilience, preparing us for the great victories that lie ahead as we continue onward with hearts full of hope and strength that never fades but grows ever stronger with each new day, and every challenge we overcome without end. In the journey of life, as we stumble and face failure, it is easy to feel overwhelmed by our mistakes and shortcomings. Yet in those moments, there is a profound truth that shines like a beacon of hope. God's grace is sufficient, reaching deeper than our failures and lifting us up when we feel we cannot stand on our own. This grace, unearned and freely given, covers our weaknesses and forgives our missteps, reminding us that we are loved not because we are perfect, but because we are His children, precious and valued beyond measure, and no failure can separate us from that divine love that sustains us each day. When we fall short, God's grace is the steady hand that holds us firm, the gentle whisper that encourages us to keep moving forward, and the mighty strength that renews our spirit. filling the cracks in our hearts with hope and healing that we might never have found on our own. Grace teaches us that failure is not a final verdict, but an opportunity for redemption, a chance to start anew with a clean slate, and that in our weakest moments, His power is made perfect, turning what seems like defeat into a foundation for greater strength and faith. Even when our failures seem great and our shame feels heavy, God's grace is greater still, a wellspring of mercy that never runs dry, inviting us to come as we are, broken and weary, and to be restored, renewed, and sent forth with purpose and peace. This sufficiency of grace does not remove the challenges we face, but transforms how we face them, giving us courage when we feel afraid, peace when we feel anxious, and a light to guide us through the darkest valleys, reminding us that we are never alone in our struggle. To rely on God's grace is to understand that our worth is not measured by our success, but by His love and forgiveness, and that through grace, every failure is a stepping stone to growth, every setback a call to trust more deeply. So as you walk through the seasons of failure and uncertainty, hold fast to this truth: God's grace is sufficient to carry you, to heal you, and to lift you higher than you ever dreamed possible. And with that grace surrounding you, your story is still being written, unfolding with hope and victory that continues forever without end. Failure has a unique way of breaking through the armor of pride, reminding even the strongest among us that we are not invincible, that no amount of human achievement or self-reliance can protect us from the trials that life brings. And in this breaking down, pride is softened and humility is born, opening our hearts to growth and transformation. For the proud failure is a humbling teacher, stripping away arrogance and false confidence, showing us that our accomplishments are not solely by our own hand, but are often touched by grace and the help of others. And this realization leads us to a deeper sense of gratitude and dependence on something greater than ourselves. But failure does not only humble the proud, it also strengthens the weak, those who may feel fragile or defeated, by revealing the hidden wells of resilience and courage within, encouraging them to rise up and face new challenges with a renewed spirit and determination that was previously unknown. In moments of failure, the weak find that their weakness is not a limitation but a place where strength is made perfect, where perseverance is born, and where the experience of falling leads to a greater capacity to endure and to overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Failure levels the playing field, breaking down barriers between the strong and the weak, and reminding us all that we are human, vulnerable, and in need of compassion and support, creating space for empathy and connection that builds a foundation of true strength and community. This humbling and strengthening work of failure shapes our character, teaching us that true greatness is not measured by how high we rise, but by how deeply we are grounded in humility and how courageously we continue when we feel weak and uncertain. Those who learn to embrace failure as a refining fire discover that it melts away the dross of pride and hardens the resolve of the weak, molding them into people who are not only strong in spirit but gentle in heart, able to lead with wisdom and serve with compassion. So remember that failure is not a curse but a blessing in disguise, a divine instrument that humbles the proud, strengthens the weak, and prepares every soul to walk boldly forward on the path of life with humility, courage and enduring hope that carries us onward and upward without end. True success is not measured by a flawless journey or a path free from obstacles, but by the courage and determination to rise each time we fall, to stand up again when the weight of failure threatens to keep us down. For it is in these moments of getting back up that our character is truly revealed and our strength is forged. Falling is an inevitable part of life. Every person who has achieved greatness has known the sting of defeat, the bitter taste of disappointment, and the heavy burden of setbacks. Yet what sets them apart is the refusal to be defined or defeated by those falls, choosing instead to see each one as a lesson and an opportunity to grow. It is not the absence of failure that makes someone successful, but the resilience to persevere, to shake off the dust of disappointment, and to keep moving forward with hope and faith, trusting that each new attempt brings us closer to the fulfillment of our dreams and the purpose God has placed within us. Rising after a fall requires humility to acknowledge our mistakes and the willingness to learn from them, the strength to overcome discouragement, and the grace to keep believing in ourselves and in the greater plan that is unfolding even when the way is unclear. Each time we rise, we build resilience, an inner power that grows with every challenge faced and every setback overcome, making us stronger, wiser, and more capable of handling whatever trials lie ahead. And this resilience is the true mark of success that cannot be taken. Success is not about perfection or a life without hardship, but about the heart to persist, the spirit to keep trying, and the faith to trust that our efforts are not in vain, that every fall is followed by a rising that brings us one step closer to victory and fulfillment. So let us celebrate not those who never fail, but those who never quit, those who rise time and again with courage and determination, showing us that true greatness is found not in the flawless but in the faithful, not in the absence of falls but in the relentless rising that follows. Remember, your true success lies not in never falling but in rising every time you fall, in the hope and strength that carry you forward on the journey that continues to unfold with purpose, grace and endless possibilities that never cease to inspire and encourage as you walk onward without end.